What's going on, motivators? We got another video. We got to talk about President Trump just seizing an Iranian cargo ship trying to evade the blockade. Let's get into this.
Cargo ship today, posting on social media, the 900-foot Tuska tried to evade the U.S. blockade. The president said the USS Spruance warned the tanker, then blew a hole in the engine room, writing, "We have full custody of the ship and are seeing what's on board. No confirmation from Iranian officials." But this comes just days before the current ceasefire agreement expires, and tonight the...
I think the Iranians are testing Trump's patience. They're really testing Trump's patience. They don't have a Navy again. They don't have an Air Force, but they're testing the patience. I mean, the ceasefire ending is coming this coming week, right? So we're going to see what's going to happen. Dispatch have been sent, i.e. for negotiation personnel in the Middle East to Pakistan. Let's see how that goes. But I'm telling you, they're testing Trump's patience, and who knows what's going to come out of it. I hope they take the deal, no nuclear, and you move from there, right? And not interfere into the straits. They might end up suffering some worse casualties. We shall see.
White House tells NBC News U.S. negotiators are headed back to Pakistan tomorrow. The team will include Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, and Vice President J.D. Vance, according to two senior administration officials, despite President Trump telling other news outlets earlier that the VP was not traveling. But at this hour, it appears Iran hasn't agreed to show up. State News reporting tonight that any confirmation of a second round...
Here's the thing, too. Who's running Iran? There's two factors. One factor is saying they're talking. Another factor is saying they're not talking. The whole country is in discombobulation as far as leadership after the Ayatollah got killed, right? So now it's kind of like two different factions running it. Is it the military or is it the actual administrative portion as far as leadership with the cabinet? Right now, it's a big disarray. One public sector knows that they cannot do anything, and the other ones, we all know they cannot. Iran is on its last straw right now with like trying to pretend, right, they could make things. But again, there's no difference with what's going on. It's like an NFL team playing against a high school team. There is no comparison. They don't have the weaponry that we have. None of that stuff. It's complete annihilation. Funny enough, I had some people in the comments saying that Iran is winning. And I'm like, I don't know if they were trolls, but it doesn't really make sense that you could say Iran is winning. Yes, they're putting propaganda that they're winning, but how could you say that they're winning when they have been decimated, i.e. no Air Force? It's gone, i.e. over 100 and semi ships in the bottom of the ocean. We took the top, they took the bottom, and they're not talking about submarines. It's not coming back up. How could you say that they're winning? If we put boots on the ground, yeah, they might even get worse because then we have to go against them. But you put the chokehold with the economy. Guess who's not going to get paid? The good old Army. Army don't get paid. Guess what? People started capitulating. Be like, I'm good. I'm going to move on. So now you could break them from within. How war work and how those things are about being strategic. But, I mean, I digress on that front. A lot of people are just keyboard warriors and they're going to continue to be.
Of negotiations in Islamabad is not true. On Sunday, the Strait of Hormuz remained largely closed after Iran imposed its own restrictions on the vital waterway, allegedly opening fire on two Indian flagships yesterday. In response to that, President Trump called Iran's actions a total violation of our ceasefire agreement. Meanwhile,
with this ship, Tuska, but there have been some reports that some vessels linked to Iran have been able to get past this blockade undetected. We have not independently verified those reports, but President Trump certainly touting here.
Yeah, but those reports are from who? She got to give her sources. The sources are from the Iranian. The Iranians themselves are saying that things have been past the blockade, when U.S. is saying no ships have passed. I would be reluctant to believe that the Iranians are telling the truth. How, with our weapons and our military and our devices being so sophisticated, that the Iranians could pass without being detected? I don't believe so. And there's so many warships out there. It makes no sense.
Continuation of this blockade, which has caused such tension with Iran after they sought to reopen the strait, but President Trump promised to keep this blockade going.
Just hours after the White House said top U.S. officials are preparing to take part in another round of peace talks with Iran in the coming days, and it marks the latest.
Foreign policy has rested on this ship, a very large tanker apparently, was trying to run the blockade. They were told not to do it. They kept going, so apparently we fired a missile into their engine room. That's usually a pretty good way to...
Man, I could see a smile on John Bolton's. I could see a smile on his face right now. John Bolton never used to smile. He hated Trump, but he's a warmonger. He's all about this right now. You could see him cheesing that, yeah, he wanted to go to war with Iran during the first administration, and now it's happening. His whole face is lighting up.
Stop a ship. Marines boarded it and are presumably taking it into custody. I might say not only is the ship apparently in violation of the blockade, it is also a ship we've sanctioned. It may be part of what people call the ghost fleet. These are basically ships with shady ownership that change their flags of registration on an hourly basis. And that's a separate independent ground to board the ship. It's a stateless vessel, if that's true, and therefore no state can complain when we board it. It ought to be a lesson to not just to Iran, but to any other ship owners or insurance companies that think they can run a U.S. Navy blockade.
Yeah, we're waiting for, obviously, confirmation of that. We don't know exactly the case on that just yet. Do you see this, though, as escalatory, or is...
Escalated here, it was the government of Iran to challenge the blockade. I believe this is the first serious ship, maybe some Fisher's Dow may have made it through the blockade.
Yeah, but I said, like, Iran is playing with fire. And, like, yeah, some Fisher ship made it through the blockade, some tiny vessel. I doubt some big vessel have made it through. I want to see proof. If it has, that means the administration is not telling the truth. But I don't believe with CENTCOM being out there, with my time in the military, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't believe that for one bit. We have not just ships out there. There are also in the waters, there are submarines. So you have both top and bottom. It's very unlikely. So that's what I'm saying. I don't believe that. And especially it's coming from the Iranian state media. We know propaganda state.
What do you make of this development?
Apparently the ship was coming into Iran, going to dock at Bandar Abbas, which is the port on the Strait of Hormuz. So it was coming from somewhere else, loaded with cargo, presumably. It's a ship that's already been sanctioned by the United States. It disobeyed orders to stop. The United States...
Pretty much effed around and found out. We're not playing. We're not touting the don't and still let things. The red line is a red line. You cross it, you find out.
What do you think?
Yeah, it bothers me that Democrats especially are framing this like President Trump is blowing up our relationship with our European allies, when it's the European allies that are telling us we can't use the bases that we maintain, mostly fund to operate, and are vital to their own national security. So when you look...
Over trillions of dollars for NATO, and we cannot even use their bases. But we're the one who's ruining the relationship. They're the ones ruining the relationship. But Democrats, again, anything Trump is for, they're against. In the best interest of the United States, Democrats, their hatred for Trump, they're going to put America in a place that they actually hate America too. That's just the way it is right now, plain and simple.
Into like the guy in Spain, I mean, his whole family is under investigation for huge corruption. He's kind of known as being anti-Israel. So, I mean, you know, like the politics that he's engaging in here are, in my opinion, much more detrimental to NATO than anything President Trump has done, which to my count is encourage them to spend more on defense, which is what NATO is all about. So I think that, you know, the attacks towards President Trump, because these NATO leaders obviously are either too afraid of their own voting bloc or ideologically more aligned with Iran than...
All right, so we see the gist of this too. The idea is we are not playing around when it comes to the blockade. Nothing's coming in, nothing is going out unless we give the permission. Iran, Trump is trying to play nice with Iran with the idea of having them come to the table. But I'm telling you, if they mess this up, they don't take the deal, still rain coming down. So let me know what you think inside the comments. All right, motivators, if you enjoy what you've seen and heard, please like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to A Black Veteran's Perspective. Stay motivated.